to my proposition. "Dear," I said with emotion, I fancy just the right note of conjugal tenderness in my voice, "won't you drop me at the house first before you take Miss Draper home? I'm afraid I am getting a headache. I've had a rather strenuous day with Lillian, you know, and I really am very tired. You will excuse me, I am sure, Miss Draper. I'll try never to quit like this again, but my headaches are not to be trifled with." "I am so sorry." Her voice was conventional, but I caught the undernote of joy. "Of course I will excuse you." "Are you sure the ride over there wouldn't do your head good, Madge?" "Oh, no, Dicky. I feel that I must get home quickly. But that does not need to affect your plans. Katie is at home. I do not need you in the least. Go right along and enjoy your ride. I only wish I felt like doing it, too." I fairly held my breath the rest of the ride. Dicky had not replied to my suggestion. What would he do when we reached the house? The taxi sped along over the smooth roads, turned up the driveway at the side of the house, and halted before the steps of the veranda. Dicky sprang out, gave his hand to me, and then turned to the driver. "Take this lady to Marvin," he said. "She will tell you the street. How much do I owe you?" $1.50. I knew the charge was excessive, but I also knew enough to hold my tongue about it. Dicky paid the man and spoke to the girl inside. "Good night, Miss Draper. You see, you will have to enjoy the ride for the both of us." "Oh, Dicky," I protested, but with a fierce little thrill of triumph at my heart. "This is a shame. Honestly, I do not need you. Go on over with Miss Draper." "Of course he will do no such thing." The girl spoke with finality. I could imagine the storm of jealous rage that was swaying her. "There is nothing else for Mr. Graham to do but to stay with you," her tone added. "You have compelled him to do so against his will." She leaned from the cab. Her face looked ethereally beautiful in the faint light. I knew she meant to make Dicky regret that he could not accompany her. "Good night," she said sweetly. "I am so sorry you do not feel well. I sincerely hope you will be better in the morning." But as the taxi rolled away, my heart beating a triumphant accompaniment to the roll of its wheels, I knew she was wishing me every malevolent thing possible. I was glad she could not guess the bitter taste in my cup of victory. Long after Dicky was asleep, I lay on my porch bed, looking out at the stars, and debating over and over the question: did Dicky refuse to accompany Grace Draper to her home because of consideration for me, or because he was afraid to trust himself alone with her? Chapter 26.